I think if we're all being honest, it's easy for us to admit that 2023 in the real estate market has been confusing for us. When the Bank of Canada announced a pause to interest rate increases in late winter of 2023, the real estate market responded positively, and that was because consumer sentiment improved. Then in summer, all of our hopes were dashed when the Bank of Canada once again rose interest rates 2 times. Now, if you're feeling like you're caught in the middle of that storm right now, not sure what to make of the Chilliwack and Fraser Valley real estate markets, well, this video is meant to bring some clarity and also show you how you can take advantage of the current real estate market, whether you're a buyer or a seller. My name is Jeremy Van Werden. I'm a local Chilliwack and Fraser Valley real estate agent who specializes in using creative marketing and exposure to help sellers squeeze every last penny out of their investment. Thanks for tuning in to my market update for October of 2023 for Chilliwack and the surrounding areas, where we look at what's happening in the current market and then what it means for you as a buyer or seller. Now let's get started by taking a look at the most recent stats. Coming out of the summer months, it's not unusual for the real estate market to become a little more active than it was during the months of June, July, and August. People are back from their summer holidays, they're into family, school, and work routines, and they start thinking about making moves in real estate again, and this year was no different. Looking at the stats for the month of September, nearly everything is up, but I have to say it's quite insignificant, so don't get too excited and start thinking that the market's going on a run again like it did in the spring. As far as prices are concerned, both median and average prices have gone up. In fact, average prices have gone from $700,000 in August up to $760,000 in September. Now you might think that's a big jump, but remember that average numbers can be skewed in either direction by outlying sales numbers. For September, we did see a larger number of home sales above that $1 million price point compared to August, which is likely what's pulling that average up. What I like to do is weigh those numbers alongside the benchmark prices, which look at the value of a typical home in any given area. And for the month of September, benchmark prices across all property types in the area came down from just over $1 million to just under $1 million. So quite insignificant, but nonetheless, actually seeing a drop there rather than an increase like we saw in the average prices. And from what I've been seeing in the market, as well as conversations that I've been having with other agents, it definitely seems that that is a more accurate depiction of what's happening in the current market. In September, we also saw an increase in the number of new listings coming to market. So in August, we saw 447 new listings. In the month of September, we saw 514 new listings. And while new listings increased month over month, also the number of home sales increased month over month by about 5%. To interpret that, while we have seen more sellers bringing their homes to market, we've also seen more home sales, which really means there's no change to the amount of housing supply available on the market at this time. And it's this persistently tight inventory that's been one of the talking points of the real estate market in 2023, and that has actually been keeping prices buoyant regardless of all the interest rates that we've seen over the last year and a half. Overall, through the summer months and now into fall, we've seen that supply and demand really balance out, which can make it a great time to transact. For those who are looking to move across by selling their current home and purchasing another home, a balanced market can provide a great opportunity to make a move without feeling rushed or stressed. And for that reason, we're actually seeing a lot of people write offers subject to them selling their current home. There's one thing that I did mention in my last market update, which I think deserves repeating, and that is for those people who are looking to move from a townhouse and upsize into a detached house. The current market actually provides a great opportunity to do that because townhouses are still in seller market territory, while detached homes are in balanced market territory. The reason for this is because of interest rates, a lot of buyers are being forced into lower priced homes, which just happens to be townhouses. So if you can get your townhouse sold now and then go out shopping for a detached house, you're probably gonna pick up a detached house at quite a large discount compared to what you sold your townhouse for. So that's gonna be one of my most recommended moves for the current market. And now my favorite part, let's talk about what this means for you. I'll start out by speaking to sellers. You may need to adjust your expectations if you're still thinking that the market was as active as it was back in spring. Unless you're underpricing your home, don't expect to sell over asking price with multiple offers in hand. I've had many conversations lately where buyers are concerned about overpaying for a property. So they don't want to come in, buy something now, and then hear that in 2, 4, or 6 months, it's actually worth less than what they paid for it. And this is something I'm gonna come back to a little bit later. And that takes me straight to point number 2. In a hot market, it's not unusual to see buyers competing for properties by bringing forward their best offer in an attempt to beat out the other buyers. What we rarely hear anybody talk about is the flip side of that, which is what happens in a cooler market. When the market cools down, no longer are buyers tripping over each other in order to purchase your home. now you're the one competing. You, as a seller, are in a competition with other sellers in order to attract buyers to come purchase your home instead of the neighbor's home. And in that scenario, selling your home is all about positioning. Positioning is a strategic way of selling your home that takes into account a lot of factors that I just don't have time to unpack here, but I can tell you that it's not just about taking a bunch of photos, picking a price, throwing your house on the MLS, and then waiting to see what happens. And finally, October can still be a great time to sell your home because we have some nice weather and those dark winter months haven't set in yet. And now I want to speak to buyers who I can tell have a great deal of uncertainty. As a buyer, you probably find yourself flip-flopping back and forth between two fears. That is the fear of missing out and the fear of overpaying. When the market's hot and prices are rising, you're worried about missing out, so you want to buy something as soon as possible. And then when the market's cooler, you're worried about what if I buy something now and then in the future it's worth less than what I paid for it. With the market balancing out now, it's fair to say that that fear of missing out has all but disappeared and it's been replaced with that fear of overpaying. So here are two pieces of advice to help you if you're in that situation. Number one, in a softer market like the one we're currently in, it's much easier to get a deal. And that's because right now, in many cases, sellers are the ones with the fear of missing out. Many sellers right now are getting an offer and thinking that if they don't accept it, the next one coming down the pipeline might be even worse. And in some cases, that could be very true. All that to say, right now, sellers want an offer and you might be surprised by how much they'll be willing to negotiate. And point number two for buyers is to stop thinking about real estate in terms of months and start thinking about it in terms of years. If you're interested in trying to flip a property by purchasing it and then just sitting on it for 6 months and selling it without making any improvements or renovations, this, quite frankly, is not the market for you to be buying in. On the contrary, if you're looking for a home for yourself and you intend to stay there for years, not months, go ahead and write an offer on something. Overall, this fall real estate market could be a great opportunity for those buyers that want to get out there, not feel pressured or in a rush, not compete with investors or other home buyers, and write an offer where they can negotiate with the seller. Now, if you found this video informative, but you still have a lot of questions, I get it because I know how much goes into a real estate transaction and how everybody's situation is unique. So if that's you, let's catch up one-on-one, we'll grab a coffee and just talk through what's best in your current situation.